So hello, is anyone there? People are waiting. Okay, let me go to. Hello. Go to Zoom right quick. Back to meeting. Hello.
Hello.
Looks like I have to admit you guys to the meeting.
Oh.
I never had to do that before.
Uh-oh.
Oh, why does it?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm Professor Trun, and you are in MLS contracts. How's everybody doing?
Good yourself.
Were you guys able to look at the syllabus, get the book? Does everyone have the book?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So any questions off the bat before we move on?
Good evening, Professor.
Uh-huh.
Ligia.
What's your name?
Ligia?
Uh-huh. Hostrom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any relation to Grant Hostrom?
Who's that? Tell me, maybe I am.
He's in Irvine. He's my old boss.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
Nice meeting you.
You too. So I understand that the other professors don't necessarily take roll, but I am writing down your attendance. I think everybody is in. One person is Wanda is waiting. Okay.
I always go by Michelle, but mine will be listed under Bernice.
Your name is Bernice.
Yes.
Okay, instead of B Michelle.
Yeah, the B stands for Bernice. But everybody just calls me Michelle, so I just always write Michelle.
Okay. And Jesus.
Like this, honey?
Okay. So, yes. I think Felicia is muted. All right, I don't know what just happened to my screen.
Mine's also. Someone's sharing.
Okay.
This is Wanda Sheldon. I'm
So I need to
audio.
admit, Crystal, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Jesus is sharing.
And can you see me okay?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No?
We're in a small screen now.
Okay. I will try to get you back. Because all of a sudden it did. Oh, there we go. Okay. Please bear with me on the technical side. Okay. So I'm Professor Trunell, and what I wanted to do was go over some housekeeping. And I'll let you know that am going to share my screen with you. I did want to, on the syllabus, because I got some questions about when we meet. And so our live sessions are on Thursdays. And the next one is in week 5. So we have week 1, week 5, and then I'm working on, for your final, you may or may not have to present live. I'm still working on the final.
Okay.
All right, so this session, and then the next one is week 5.
Okay.
And then possibly the final exam, which is week 7. You will have a written final as well as a possible presentation on that last week, week 7. And so just to confirm, our live session or your media posting, so it's either a live session or a media posting, it's on Thursday. The discussion board is due by Friday, 11:59. Your responses to the discussion post, your 2 responses are due by Sunday, and then your quiz is Saturday. So what I want to do now is share my screen with you, and we're going to go through the PowerPoint presentation. Any questions so far before we move on?
I'm sorry.
Who's speaking?
I didn't hear what you said about the quiz time and day.
Oh, the quizzes are on Saturday.
Okay.
So that's just the standard. So it's either a media posting or a live session on Thursday. And then the discussion board, your original post is due Friday, and your 2 responses are due by Sunday. And then the quiz is Saturday. Just to confirm, because I did get some questions about when we were meeting. Someone asked me if it was Tuesday. I've always met on Thursday. So, yeah, I just wanted to confirm that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Professor.
Yes. Your name is?
Oh, I'm Phyllis.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could get me on the roll, and I wasn't quite sure. Did you call roll or?
No. If you want me to, I will, though. I don't mind calling roll.
Oh, man.
The first time I did it, they were like, they never called roll before.
I have another question. Is the quiz, is it multiple choice? Is it written? Is it time?
It's multiple choice. Is it timed, you asked me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that they cut off after a certain point. But if you don't complete it, just send me an email and let me know. And if it shuts off on you.
Okay.
And something like that, if you need to get to me right away, which we'll go through, you can text me. So I have Darlene. Is Darlene present? Darlene. And Zara. Hello. I see the book. Somebody's in their car.
I am. This is Michelle. I get off late, so I'm on my way home.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
Okay. Let's share our screen. Okay, so we're in contracts. And all right, so this course will cover basic contract law principles. By the end of the course, you should be able to answer the following questions. Those questions are from your book titles. So the first one is, has a deal been made? Which is what we will go over today. Is the deal enforceable? Are there defenses to enforcement of the deal? When will performance of the deal be excused? How does the law enforce the deal? And finally, let's see, who else is affected by the deals? Are any third parties affected by the contract that you made that were not a party to that contract? So we'll go over that in units. Okay, so just a few housekeeping matters. You have my email address. It's vgtrinell@tiu.edu. Please email me there if you have questions. You should, I tried to make sure that everyone had access to all of the documents and the links. Sometimes, you know, that the access is not there. So if you can't access something, email me, send me a text is the best way if you need me to look at something right away. Otherwise, I have to respond to you within 72 hours. Okay, then the other thing is, and that's my phone number, my cell phone. And I don't think that's on the phone. No. Okay, so you guys try to record that. I think I will put up PowerPoints also. So when we're done, by the weekend, I'll upload my PowerPoint for you. Just for the live, it's for the live sessions. I don't do PowerPoints every week. But for the live sessions, I will upload my PowerPoints afterwards. And then there's a recording if you do miss it. Okay, and then the other thing is, were you guys able to see the approved posting format instructions form? I had them added, but I'm not sure where they added it.
I didn't see one.
Did not see one? Okay.
I didn't see one either.
What I'll do is I'll add it to the portal. And so I'm going to go over it with you now. Let's see. Okay. So basically, can you guys see that the approved posting format instructions?
Yes.
Okay. So when you answer your question, because the last 2 times I taught, some people are very brief, and then some people give you a very thorough answer. So if you follow this format, I hope that we find somewhere in between where your answers are more complete, not just, you know, a couple of sentences. Because I want you to really think about it and present the contract principles that you're learning in your book for each week. So the way to answer a question is to state that question to be answered. Then any rules from the book. So for example, with offer. Okay, there's a couple of people waiting. Hold on. Okay. Hi, Taquan, and I'm not sure the other person that just joined.
Wanda?
Wanda. Okay. So we're going over the approved posting format instructions. So state the question, and then any rules that are applicable to that question. For example, if we're dealing with, if there was an offer and acceptance, then you would state the rule for offer or acceptance. And then apply, how is the question answered? Apply the rule to the question facts that have been given to you, and then state your conclusion. And so you don't have to necessarily go, okay, number 1, question, number 2, here are the rules. You don't have to necessarily, you know, number it. You can still put it in paragraph form, but just make sure that all of those things are within your post. And I will add that to the portal. And I might try to email it to you also. That way I know you have it.
Excellent.
Go ahead.
Professor, somebody might be typing. Maybe they can mute it so that we don't hear. I hear somebody typing. Maybe it's just me.
Okay, so you should probably mute your background noise.
Yeah.
If you can do that, so we don't hear children or dogs barking or anything like that. Okay, so let's proceed. with our PowerPoint. Start from the beginning. Okay, so what is a contract? A contract is an agreement between two parties that creates an obligation to perform or not perform a particular duty. It's something that you didn't have to do before, but because you've agreed with someone, you now have an obligation to do that particular thing that you agreed upon. So a contract must include an offer, acceptance, and consideration. And consideration is something we'll go over next unit, but it has to be supported by something. You know, I can't offer to sell you the sky. I can't make a contract to sell you the blue sky because I don't have the blue sky to sell to you. So there's no consideration. There's nothing to support that contract. And so that concept we'll go over more next, in next unit, you will go over that. So this unit will focus on the first two requirements of a valid contract, and that is offer and acceptance. Go back. Yeah. Okay, so a contract requires mutual assent. That is an agreement. So what are the components of mutual assent? It is an offer and acceptance. And so you look at that objectively. Would someone looking from the outside believe that you made an offer and someone accepted it? If they're just talking, sometimes people are just talking and you don't really think that they're serious objectively, then there wouldn't be a mutual assent. There would not be an offer and acceptance. So what does that mean? A reasonable person in the position of the promisee must believe the other party intended to be bound, and the promisee must have actually so believed. Does someone have you on speakerphone? Because I hear myself, it's an echo. Do you guys hear the echo?
Mm-hmm.
You guys hear the echo?
I did.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't think that's me.
Light right onto the
All the way
I-26 West
over.
ramp.
Yeah, I can hear it too, but I don't know.
Okay, so if you have me on speaker, you might want to change that because there's an echo. Okay, so why is that important? Why do you think that mutual assent is important? I'm asking you guys. Anybody can answer.
Mutual assent confirms that both parties are in agreement and are going to execute both sides of the contract effectively.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You have to agree. You have to both be agreeing to the same thing, or there is an agreement, right? And so that's why it's important. And we'll see that a little bit later on. Okay, so what is an offer? An offer is a promise by one party made to another to do or not to do something in the future, contingent upon the other party's acceptance. Okay, so I can offer to sell you, my iPad, and then you will, if you accept, then we've created an agreement. We have an agreement, and that is a contract. So it must be communicated by words, conduct, or a combination of both, right? So that if you say I'll wash your car for $20 and I give you $20, my conduct suggests that I've accepted that offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't necessarily have to say, I accept that offer. I'm showed you by giving you that $20 that I'm accepting. And so it can be communicated through words and conduct. Words, conduct, or both. So once an offer is made, the offeree has the power of acceptance, okay? The power of acceptance gives the offeree the ability to create a binding agreement, okay? So that's pretty powerful. If I make an offer and you accept it, then you have the ability to bind me to that contract. Unless, you know, objectively speaking, you weren't being serious about it. You really didn't intend to. So remember, an offer must directly or indirectly be communicated indicate a desire to enter into a contract. It must be directed at some person or persons, invite acceptance, and it creates a reasonable understanding that upon acceptance, a contract will arise. And so you can't enter into a contract with your pet. You know, it has to be person to person.
You hear that?
I know that kind of goes without saying. So what effect does the intention of the contracting parties have on whether a contract has been made? So my example is the red Ferrari. Okay, so the doctrine of mutual misunderstanding. If the parties agree to use the same term, but each attaches a different meaning to the term, that is the doctrine of mutual misunderstanding. So my example is, so if A offers to sell B his red car for only $1,000, B is excited because he has only seen A in a red Ferrari. A means his old red 2007 Honda Civic. Is there a contract?
No,
Why not?
because there is a
By which type of car?
terms of the contract.
Who's talking?
Ashley,
Okay. Go ahead, Ashley.
there's a misunderstanding of the terms of the contract. One person means one vehicle, one person means the other. They're not agreeing on the same terms.
Right, the red car, right? That's they're attaching two different meanings to red car. And so in that regard, there's no mutual understanding. There's no mutual assent. They have two different understandings of what red car means. And so A can't bind B and B can't bind A. You know, B can't go to court and say, hey, I want his red Ferrari for $1,000. That contract probably wouldn't be enforceable. I don't think that any Ferrari is $1,000. Even an old one, even a shell of one probably isn't $1,000. So, so there would not be a contract in that instance. How are we doing? I'm going to just check the volume. I don't hear the echo anymore, so I'm going to keep going. I was going to check because I wanted to get rid of that echo. So mutual misunderstanding of contract. The result is there's no contract. Remember, contracts require mutual assent. And then there's uncertain offers. There are two types. There are price quotes and general public advertisements. Those are uncertain because they're so, with an advertisement, you're advertising to a wide spectrum of people. And so that the product might not be available when you go to get that product that's been advertisement. It's not specific. So it basically is viewed as an invitation to offer. It's not, you can't go to a store and say, you better give me, you know, those widgets at the price you advertise. Well, if the store doesn't have the widgets because they're sold out, then they're just sold out. Okay, so it's not creating a contract because they've advertised that they're selling widgets for a certain price. And so then there's an option contract, and that's a contract that remains open for a specified period of time or specified conditions that is supported by consideration, statute, or a reliance. Meaning that you say that I'm going to offer you, for example, when you go to purchase a house and they give you, the lender might give you a certain percentage rate, right? But it's held open for only a certain period of time because interest rates change all the time. And so that is an option contract for that particular interest rate until it expires, either by statute or by consideration or reliance on some part. So if you go out and secure a property and say, hey, I want to buy this property, and it's still within the time period, That's supported by, you relied on that lender saying, I'm going to give you this particular interest rate. And so they have to honor that. So that would be an option contract. So it remains open for a specified period of time until the conditions are met. And you finding that home within that time is an option contract. Okay, so your local, another way is irrevocable offers. For example, your local electronics store advertises a Black Friday deal that they will give the first 100 people in line a 60-inch smart TV. You want the TV, so you skip Thanksgiving with the family and camp out in line for 3 days. Is this an irrevocable offer? And how is it different from a general advertisement? Anybody want to respond to that?
There's a promise. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. There's a promise from the corporation or the store that they will give something out. And unless they put it in fine print that something may change, then they can't change it. They have to fulfill their promise.
Exactly. So how that differs from just a general advertisement is just a little more specific, right? So it's 100 people. You can identify those 100 people. And if they're in line and they've skipped their Thanksgiving dinner with their family to camp out, there's some type of reliance on that promise. So you can't now go back and say, oh, no, I'm not going to honor that. And so that's why it would be called an irrevocable offer. And that's different from the general advertisement. Do you see that?
Yeah.
How it's different from just making a sale that we're going to sell widgets for $10 to everybody in the world.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes.
If one of those 100 people in the line didn't get their television, would they have grounds for a lawsuit?
Yes, they can go to the company and say, hey, I want my television, and ask for specific performance in that case. Yes, they can. It's enforceable. Okay, so then compare with the UCC. So remember, the Uniform Commercial Code, it governs the sale of goods, things you purchase. Compared with the other laws, we're just dealing with general contracts, not necessarily for the sale of goods. That's called the common law. So you're either dealing with the UCC or you're dealing with something else. And so the Uniform Commercial Code will govern the sale of goods. And sometimes the rules are very similar to the common law or the case law rules, but they are, a lot of times they are a little more relaxed because things can be a little more specific when you're dealing with goods or if you're dealing with a contract between merchants. So when you're dealing with a contract between merchants, if it's in writing and it states that it will remain open and may not be revoked for a period of time stated or for a reasonable period of time if no time is specified. So this is called a firm offer. We're just dealing with an offer. Okay, so when you're dealing with two parties that are businesses, then that offer is going to remain open for a period of time if it's stated, and if it's not stated, then it's a reasonable period of time. And when you're looking at a reasonable period of time, you're looking at how the common performance between parties in that same position. For example, if you have two businesses that are selling restaurant products and they typically do business a certain way, then the courts would look at that reasonable period of time in that industry, how they operate to determine how long that offer remains open. So we're just dealing with an offer, and that's called a firm offer. And that's for the sale of goods with the Uniform Commercial Code.
Question, would you consider the sale of goods and services to be related, or would services be something totally different when it comes to that with the UCC?
Totally different. It wouldn't be governed by the Uniform Commercial Code.
Okay.
It would just be general contract principles.
Okay.
They're two separate things.
Perfect.
So do we have any questions about the discussion board for this, what is this, for Saturday? Your discussion?
Okay, you said you was going to email it, or is it already posted?
No, this discussion board is there. The question is already there. That's already there. You should already have that information. I wanted to ask you guys about your different contracts that you've made, just in general, going about your life, and you probably didn't think, oh, I entered into a contract. So does anyone have anything they want to discuss with relationship to contracts you may have entered into?
When the time is appropriate, can you go over the objective theory?
Of what?
Well, I was reading in the book and was talking about the prongs of objective theory. Is that related to offer and acceptance? Is that what is it talking about?
Right.
I'm a little bit confused about it.
Okay, so that's just basically saying, I can have a subjective, like I can say, I'm gonna sell you my red Ferrari, right? But I know I'm not gonna sell you I subjectively, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not gonna sell you my red Ferrari. And you know that because I love this red Ferrari, I would never sell it. I plan on, I putting it in my will for my son. I'm not gonna sell it, right? So subjectively, I have no reason to sell that car. When you're looking at it objectively, you're looking at it from someone else's perspective. With someone who knows the terms of the contract, say selling a red Ferrari, would they think that I was serious about selling it? So that's all it's saying, is looking at it from the outside. Would you think that somebody is serious about that offer or the acceptance? Were they serious about entering into a contract, or were they just talking? For example, if I'm stuck on the road in my red Ferrari, okay, you come along and you're able to help me because you are a mechanic and you've worked on Ferraris before. So you know exactly what's wrong. And the guy says, oh, I could give this to you. Thank you for helping me. I should give this car to you. Do you really think, looking at it objectively, that the owner of that Ferrari meant that?
No.
To enter into a contract, or was he just so excited that somebody could help him?
Yeah, that's the second.
Right.
Yeah.
So objectively, looking at it from the outside, did he intend to enter into a contract? So that's all the objective theory is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments about the contracts you may have entered into?
No. He does.
I have a question. It might be a silly one, kind of. You enter a lease agreement. Years ago, I was a part of this for about a day and a half. This business called Prepaid Legal. Has anybody heard of it?
Yes.
Okay, they have this portion that they do contract review for you for basic things like signing a lease, buying a car, just to make sure that you understand what you're getting to be a part of. So I later found out that Prepaid Legal, they're not actually legal. You're not a lawyer once you sign up for Prepaid Legal. So a lot of people used to think that. But if they review the contract, they have attorneys review contract. Is that actually just a separate field of law that can be worked after graduation?
Can what be worked? I didn't
Contract
understand the
law.
last part.
Well, basically, the people who work for prepaid legal and just review contracts for the company and get paid for it. Business in itself.
Well, the thing is, it depends on if they're holding themselves out as lawyers. Because if they're not, they can't really advise you. That would be the legal practice of law. And so I'm not familiar with the specific contract terms that they say when you sign up for prepaid legal. I know that some people swear by it. I have an actress friend that uses it, and you know, she'll have them look at her contract. But if you need someone, you really need a lawyer.
Yeah, they contract with an actual attorney's firm, or 2 or 3 of them, or something along those lines. So they are actual attorneys that review contracts. I just wanted to get someone else's opinion about what they think prepaid legal is. Since this is a law school, I just want to know.
Yeah, I mean,
I never got paid from the business, so I backed out.
It's like your escrow account, almost like just in case you need legal advice, they're there for you, and you're paying for that.
Okay.
So as long as they're not holding themselves out as lawyers, and they're not, if you're actually getting advice from a lawyer based on what you have available, the amount of credit or money you've paid into, it should be okay. It's just a matter of their expertise.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, Professor, about the termination of the offer. And it was talking about rejection, revocation, and lapse.
Yep.
And for the rejection, how long, or the counter offer, how long does a person have for that rejection to be valid?
It depends on what terms the offeror makes. Remember, the offeror is king of his offer, his or her offer. So whatever term that offeror says, then you have up until that time to reject it. So if we're having a face-to-face conversation, and I say, oh, I'll wash your car for $20, and you know, I just walk away, I probably have rejected it, right? Unless I say, you know, let me know by tomorrow if you want me to wash your car. Well, then I have until tomorrow to say I'm going to wash your car or not. So it really just depends on the terms of the offer. If they want an immediate answer, or if they tell you, let me know, email me by 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
Then if you don't email them by 5 p.m. tomorrow, then basically it's lapsed. The offer has lapsed, okay? It's been terminated because, you know, it's 6 p.m. and you didn't email them.
But who can...
And it's also a rejection.
So my question is, that is a verbal offer. That's not in writing.
Doesn't have to be in writing. You can make a contract orally.
I know, that's scary.
Only certain contracts have to be in writing, which we will go over.
It's a little bit, wow, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can enter into a contract verbally.
Obviously, yes, I'm learning that.
It does not, a contract does not have to be in writing.
Wow.
Only certain ones have to be in writing, like if you are purchasing a home, real estate contracts have to be in writing. So you can say whatever you want orally. If it's not written down, there's no contract. So those 4 ways are the ways that you can reject an offer or the offer terminates. So I just say no. No, I don't. You know, $40. I'm not gonna wash your car for less than $40. I've rejected your $20 offer. And then I can revoke it. I can say, you know what, that's okay. I changed my mind. So the offeror can change their mind before the person accepts, and then lapse as we've gone over. And then if someone dies or there's some other type of incapacity, then that offer is no longer valid. It's terminated. And so offer summary offers are revocable, even if identified as irrevocable. There are exceptions. The promise not to revoke is supported by some type of consideration. Promise is enforceable by a statute. If a statute says you have to leave an offer open for a certain period of time, any type of law that governs that offer, then it may still be enforceable. And then if there's some type of reliance, like you leaving your family Thanksgiving and camping out to get that TV, okay? So you can't revoke that offer. They have to give you that TV, one of the 100. Okay, and then acceptance. So mutual assent requires acceptance of the offer. When is acceptance effective? Okay, silence is not an acceptance of an offer. There are 3 requirements for acceptance. The offeree must have knowledge of the offer. You can accept something you can't accept something you don't know about, right? Only the offeree can accept the offer. So your cousin, or your spouse can accept the offer if the offer is made to you. The acceptance must be in the form authorized by the offer. So if I tell you, email me by 5 p.m., then you should email me by 5 p.m. if you want to accept that offer. Remember, the offeror is king of their offer. And so they can set the terms of what that offer is. You don't have to accept it, but they can set the terms. And let's see what our time is. Okay, we're doing good on time. So an acceptance of an offer must be communicated to the offeror. Okay, so when you accept, you gotta let the person know, right? Mm-hmm. You can't accept in your sleep. You can't accept. If you don't, unless the person's next to you, probably not. But you have to communicate that you are accepted. You can't think, oh, you know what, I want to accept that offer, and you never communicate it. You wouldn't be able to rely on that in court. So typically, acceptance is contemporaneous to the offer. A makes an offer to B, and B accepts the offer when it is stated. But it can, occur later on. So acceptance was either unilateral, meaning that you perform an act evidencing that you've accepted the offer. I'll give you $10 to wash my car. So if the offeree washes the car, he has unilaterally accepted the offer. A bilateral acceptance is a return, promise, or agreement to the offer. So the contemporary, we're talking about the effectiveness of your acceptance if you're creating a contract by accepting it. So the contemporary view is that an offer may be accepted by any reasonable manner of assent. So where the offeror stipulates that acceptance must be done in a specific manner. So if I say, you gotta email me, okay, I don't want you calling me or anything, you gotta email me. If you don't email me, there is no contract. If I'm specific about that as the offeror, then you can't call me on the phone and say I'm accepted, because I asked you to email me. And I was clear about that they must do that. But if the offeror was not clear about, or specific, I should say, that they had to email in order to accept, then the offer can be accepted in any reasonable manner. So if I call you on the phone and say, hey, I accept, your offer, then there is a contract. You can't say, oh, you didn't email me. Well, you didn't make the requirement that they email you. So that would be a good acceptance. If an offer is accepted, why is it important for the contracting parties to have the same understanding of the contract terms? Remember our red Ferrari? Why is it important for them to have the same understanding of the terms? Anybody?
Contract employees, they don't have the same understanding.
Right. What are we talking about when we talking about an agreement?
Well, you
It's a
both
specific term.
come together.
Mutual
Have a
assent.
mutual understanding.
Understanding.
The mutual understanding, mutual assent. Okay. So what happens when the acceptance includes additional or different terms?
And you have to renegotiate.
Possibly there's a counter offer. Okay. You might be rejecting the original offer and offering a counter offer.
Or in addition to it.
Or in addition to it, I'll do that. I'll wash your car for $10, but I won't be able to do it until Sunday. Right? So you might have wanted that person to wash your car that day, and it's Wednesday. And you say, yes, I'll wash your car for $20, but I'll do it on Sunday. Right? That's an additional term. And the offerer does not necessarily have to accept that additional term. They can say, no, I need my car washed on Wednesday. I have an important meeting. I want, the car to be washed for my meeting tomorrow. They can reject that additional term or different term.
Wouldn't that also be considered a counter offer?
Yes, exactly. It's a counter offer, and then the offerer then have the power of acceptance and can reject that offer, that counter offer. Absolutely.
And then a new contract would have to be established?
I didn't hear you.
Wouldn't a new contract?
I didn't hear your last comment.
Wouldn't a new contract have to be established? If it's in writing.
What's in the new what?
If there's a counter offer.
Your connection is really bad. You're like fading out, right? Yeah, I can't understand.
There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah. Email me.
Okay. Well, is this better?
No, it doesn't have to be in writing. It doesn't have to be in writing. So if it's an additional or different terms, then if you're not under the UCC, then it's a counter offer. So technically, it's a rejection of the offer, and it's a counter offer because it's different from the original offer. Traditionally, the acceptance had to be exact to what you offer. So if I offer to wash your car for $20, then the acceptance has to be, I'm accepting it to wash the car for $20. Can't be anything different, okay? Because in other words, then you are really rejecting if it's something different or additional. You're counter offering, and then the counter offer is what is on the table. You rejected the original offer, so that's gone. So now there's a new offer. Okay, that's oral. If it's in writing, then it just depends on what that writing is. The same principles apply. So if it's the same thing, if you email me and say, hey, these are the terms of my offer, and I email you back something different or additional, okay, it's the same thing. You've rejected that offer, and then you have made a counter offer, whether it's oral or in writing. Does that help?
Yes.
Mary Louisa?
Yes.
Okay. I was just checking the time. So there are exceptions. Under UCC, remember, the UCC governs sales of goods. Okay. Acceptance under the UCC will occur even if it contains additional or different terms, so long as it contains all of the negotiated terms of the transaction, the price, the quantity, delivery terms. Okay. There are exceptions. If the offeree states that the offeror must agree to the additional or different terms, then under the UCC, remember sale of goods, UCC, then those additional or different terms are not part of the contract. Or if it's a contract between merchants, or the parties' conduct show an agreement to the terms. Okay, so under the UCC, what the UCC is saying that if you have 5 conditions and then you guys negotiated those 5 conditions, if those 5 conditions are in the contract, but then the offeree that has 2 additional terms, then the contract is for the 5 you've agreed upon. So the other 2 may or may not become part of the contract if they're not agreed upon by the other party. Does that make sense? I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you.
It's confusing.
You know, hopefully the book, what I'm saying to you is just supporting what the book, what the terms in the book, the principles, the contract principles in the book. I'm highlighting what's in the book. So hopefully seeing it more presented in by me, or even reading it again may make it clearer. The examples in the book are pretty good with Arnie, the armadillo.
Yes.
Professor, that armadillo by the end of Unit 7.
Yeah, Professor, thank you so much. I appreciate the PowerPoint very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, is that available?
I hope it helps. Let's see where we are with time. We're good on time. Okay, so the additional terms under the UCC, they are proposals that only become part of the contract upon the assent or agreement of the offerer. Okay, the different terms, there are 3 different approaches. You don't have to memorize all of these approaches. It's just try to understand. Treat the different terms like additional terms. So then that way, if you have different terms, the offerer has to accept those different terms, right? The other one is they fall out of the contract. That's another approach if the terms are different. The majority approach is if the different terms are conflicting terms, then they knock each other out and they just don't become a part of the contract, right? So if I agree to sell you 10 widgets, I offer to sell you 10 widgets and you come back and say, I'm gonna only take 7 widgets, right? So that would be knocked out because it's different. It's a different term, okay? They're conflicting. So that would be knocked out. So it wouldn't become part of the contract. And in that case, there probably wouldn't be a contract because that's the whole subject of the contract, right? Selling you those widgets. So you would have to, that would be treated then, hopefully, you can ask the offerer to accept those different terms, meaning that you'll purchase only 7. And if the offerer says, that's fine, I'll sell you the 7. I'd rather have money for 7 than nothing, right? So those are the different approaches for the sale of goods. So imperfect acceptance, a summary. Additional and or different terms expressed in an acceptance become part of the contract if they do not diverge any significant way from the terms of the offer and the offeree does not condition acceptance on the expressed assent of the offerer to the additional and or different terms. So we're dealing with, remember, traditionally, the acceptance had to mirror what the offer was, okay? When we talk about imperfect acceptance, we're talking about when you accept, but you accept to something different. You're offering something different. So if it's the sale of goods, as we said, they may or may not become a part of the contract. Okay? If it's not something significant, then they probably will just become a part of the contract. Or if you expressly say you have to agree that you will only take 7 and not 10. Okay, so it really just depends on really how that two parties have operated before. If you've had a long-standing relationship, and you know that you're the merchant or person you're dealing with is good for it, then that may still be a part of the contract. If it's somebody new, you're not sure, you have no history with them, then it may probably would not be. Okay, or if you expressly say you gotta agree this way to these terms. And if you don't, then basically you are rejecting those terms and you're making a counter. So it really depends on the parties. So indefinite and deferred agreement, indefinite and missing terms, there is no contract if the terms are so indefinite that it would be difficult or impossible for the court to detect a breach of the contract, or it would be difficult or impossible for the court to provide a remedy to the parties. Basically, this is just saying that there isn't enough there for you to even determine whether or not someone, if they do something or don't do something, is a breach. So you really don't have enough to rest a contract on. Remember, there's no agreement. Agreement or a contract has to have that mutual assent to something. And if you can't determine what that something is, then there's no contract. Let's move on. So for summary, contracts require both an offer and acceptance. That is the mutual assent, the agreement. The parties must intend to be bound. That is looking at it objectively. I have to have that objective intent to be bound by the terms of the contract. And then the parties must have the same understanding of the terms of the deal. Okay? I can't say I'm gonna sell you my red car for $1,000 and you think it's the Ferrari and I mean the Honda. Okay? So you have to have the same understanding of the terms, because then that way you're not agreeing. Think about it. Just logically. What have you agreed to? Right? Where's that mutual assent? If you're attaching two different meanings to something. Okay? So any questions? I think that was the end of Unit 1. Any questions?
You went over the mailbox rule?
I did not go over the mailbox rule, but basically the mailbox rule is this, okay? When you, and it's traditional, okay? Because think about this, is the mailbox rule was when there was no internet, there was no email or anything like that, okay? So the way you would accept an offer is by putting that in the mail. And basically the mailbox rule says acceptance is completed upon the offeree putting that acceptance in the mail. That's what the mailbox rule is.
Wouldn't that go by the time stamp on the envelope?
Right, yeah, yes. That's why, remember, well, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember, but when you would always hear, must be post-dated by this date, right? You don't really hear that now. That's because of the mailbox rule. Because if it's postmarked on that date, that's evidence that there's an acceptance of whatever agreement that is. So that's what the mailbox rule is basically saying. When is the acceptance effective? It is effective when you put it in the mailbox. You don't, the offeror doesn't have to receive it.
Right.
Because really the way that came up was, say I make an offer to you and then you put it in the mail. I don't get it, or it's lost or whatever, but in the meantime, the offerer revokes their offer. Remember, the offerer can revoke their offer at any time, right? And so they can say, I never received it, I've revoked that offer, there is no contract, okay? But if I have put that acceptance of your offer in the mail before you have revoked an offer, then there is a contract. So that's kind of just addressing that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But now there's so many means of communication. You know, there's the fax, the email. I don't even know if people fax anymore. Okay, but you know, pretty much it can be instantaneous.
Texting.
So the mailbox rule is not as applied today just because of that. Okay, so it's 6:59. Any final questions about anything? I will put my PowerPoints, I will add them to the portal so you can review them. Basically, I've taken it right from the book. If you have questions, you can email me questions. The quiz also is taken right from the book. The quizzes are the answers. I hope he didn't scramble. So I know there was an issue with Matt scrambling the answers to the quizzes so that the answers didn't make sense. Like it would say all of the above, but it would be A. If that happens, please let me know so I can tell him not to scramble my quizzes, because I wrote them that way. I wrote them so that it would be A and B above, or none of the above, or all of the above. So some of them are written that way. And so, you know, just let me know if that happens.
How long is the quiz?
The quiz, my quizzes are not as long as some of the other people.
Are they 10 questions?
What did you say?
Are they 10 questions?
They're 10 to 15 questions. I don't think it's...
Yours are longer then.
Mine are about...
Some of them are 10 questions.
Some of them are fewer.
Okay.
Okay. And you know what? The roll sheet that I have is for the next session, not this session. So I gotta get the right roll sheet. But I see a lot of you. Let me just make sure I got everybody. If you can hold on. I will answer any questions in the meantime.
For some reason, I think the weather is affecting my internet connectivity because I keep going in and out.
You are Jaquan?
Yes.
Where are you, Jaquan? Because I keep inviting you back and forth.
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina. It's raining. It's raining right now.
Where are you?
South Carolina.
Oh, okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Melanie. What is Ome? Ome? I think Ome is in Kenya.
Yes.
Okay, you got my email?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Thank you for waking up.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I will post my PowerPoints. Remember, if you have questions, please email me. If it's something urgent, send me a text. I put my phone number there. Let me go back and show you my phone number.
So let me get that.
Okay, I better share my screen again. Let me go back. Share screen. Okay, can you guys see that? Let me put it in presentation mode for you. Okay. Oh shoot. It went back to the beginning. It's coming. There you go. Okay, so you have my email from Trinity. That's my cell phone number. Because sometimes, I mean, I try to check the Trinity every day. Sometimes I don't. So I'll get back to you. And I look forward to, if you've done your introductory videos, I will watch them. And I look forward to learning all about you all. And with that said, if no one has any questions, I will see you in 4 weeks.
Yes.
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 Well, thank you so much. This was very nice.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And have a wonderful weekend. And for you mothers, happy Mother's Day.
Thank
You if you're a mother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have twins that I am teaching to drive. So.
Oh, that's scary.
Good luck.
Hey, I have a question.
Thank you.
Oh, who's that?
I have a question.
Okay.
Will the PowerPoint be for each lessons?
No.
No?
Just the live ones.
Okay, okay.
I might have a PowerPoint for week 3 because I used to do a live session every other week, but they told me I didn't have to do that. So I was like, oh, if I don't have to, I won't. So I made it week 1 and week 5. So I will provide you with the PowerPoints that I do have.
Okay.
How about that?
Thank
But I
you.
do think it's week 1, 3, 5. Yeah, 1, 3, and 5.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. And then the recording, hopefully this recorded and did everything. I have had so many technical difficulties before. I will blame it on myself, but hopefully it does record and all that good stuff, and you can review it.
And like I'm having a difficulties tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, well then you might have to get the look at the recording. Thank you, good people.
Thank you. You have a good week.
I do have a real quick question. Are we going to go over breach of contracts?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Is that going to be on the live one or for week 5 or no? Brian is the host.
About to
She
teach
gone?
again?
Where'd she go?
I think she's gone.
Oh.
Okay, then we all better figure this out.
Oh, okay. I just asked a simple question. Okay.
Did she went over the project about the research paper?
No, she said it might be. What did she say?
She said it might be in the essay.
Something that we might not have to present.
Yeah, but we might do an essay.
So what's the research paper?
Final essay.
She said she'll let us know later.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was about every chapter. If you look down through it, through the weeks, you can click on and see what the term paper's about, the final.
So we have to write a paper for the final?
That's what I gathered.
But I thought she wasn't completely sure.
Yeah, she's not sure.
She's gonna have a live session.
Right, about the presentation, but the final's due on 6/19, no more than 6 pages.
But I thought she said like an essay. I didn't think it was a paper.
I think it's a 3-page paper.
Essay? Yeah, because on here, I'm sorry, it does say just final exam essay.
Yeah.
Will she give us the subject or the topic?
She did not say.
No, she didn't. She said she was gonna let us know. So we
I hope
just waiting game.
If it's a research or something, I hope she give it to us sooner because that other paper from that other class, my goodness.
Right.
How did y'all do in the other class?
But I passed it. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, we still here. We passed.
What class was that?
It was the
Law 101.
Oh my
Legal
gosh.
Yeah.
I feel for you guys. Who did you have?
Miss Freeman.
Yes, that's who I had.
So what did you do?
I did well.
Yeah, I found her quiz was they were very reasonable. They were very easy.
All of them weren't easy to me because some of them was confusing.
Well, yes.
I didn't like being timed on them.
Well, it was only 30 minutes.
Yes, and I'm like, well, what the heck? So, I mean, it was cutting close for a few of them.
Yeah, I don't like to be timed on nothing when it come down to a test. So that was nerve-wracking within itself.
Did you guys take staffing yet?
No.
No.
Those, I forget who I had for that one. His quizzes are 20 questions.
Ooh.
And those aren't timed.
And are there hard questions?
They are not timed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it took me about 90 minutes to do them.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I mean, I was taking the test only, but I looked at that and I submitted. I'm like, 1 hour and 44 minutes? Are you kidding me? So,
Well, she said hers is what, 10 to 15?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the other one,
longer.
the first one was only 10. It was only 10 of them. So,
Have you guys taken the first quiz yet? Anyone?
I didn't.
I have not as of yet.
I was waiting on Saturday to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. I don't know. And she really wouldn't answer if it's timed.
I think it's timed. Yeah.
It's time. I think. Oh yeah. I think.
I know because she said something about if you run out of time, you can email her and let her know.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then this chapter is not an easy read.
I know the chapters are too long. You're talking about 29 pages.
Right, and then you're gonna forget it if you read it in the first few pages by the time it gets to Saturday in the midst of trying to do your other work.
Yeah,
exactly.
And especially since you don't know anything about contracts, so yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, we will survive.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good. I don't think she's
Good
coming
night.
back.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all of you.
Same to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye, Jaquan.
All right.
I have a question, Mary. Who was that other teacher you said that had the 20 questions?
I had him for staffing.
Who you remember who's the
Oh, I believe Neil.
I know someone that's teaching the next for summer 2 course. I forgot the person name. What he's doing, you know how we do like the module or gosh, what do you call it? He's doing it very different. It's like a little bit more difficult, and it's on the syllabus, the way he's doing differently from the other teachers, and it's going to drive me crazy.
What class?
For summer 2?
Yeah, for what class?
I'm not sure. Hold on, I can see if I can pull it up. Hold on for a minute. I think it's right here. It's for the professor I had for staffing was R. Neal.
think Richard, but the last name is Neil.
It's for torts.
Oh, okay. I'm in that one too.
Have you had that, or you had that
No,
already?
I'll be in it with you.
Yeah, that's next class.
Yes.
I read his, I was reading through, and it seemed like it's going to be a lot.
They already have a oh, that's right. They have a syllabus already.
He's doing short essays along with our discussion forums, and
Okay.
How did you get the syllabus? I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't look.
I got the syllabus. It came with the other syllabus for summer 1.
Really?
Yes.
I got both syllabus. I thought the syllabus was the same.
No, summer 1 and summer 2. It's different.
Oh, so you already on top of it. You doing second work
You know
too?
what? I'm going to get my book sooner. As soon as I finish reading these chapters right here, I'm going to start on mine sooner so I can get them out the way, because I work 2 jobs.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not about to stress myself out. So
I just got the book. Now the book wasn't easy to find. You all have to
I order mine online.
It's the 4th edition.
Okay.
I just got the book.
For tort.
Yeah, for torts. It's the 4th edition.
You guys already got the books.
I just got the book.
For next 7 weeks.
Yes, because I know how much it was gonna be, and I wanted to be on top of that.
It's a lot of reading.
Oh,
I figured as much, and I have to done. I don't read as fast no more. I'm a little old now, so I have to be on top of it.
Oh, I hear you. I read this chapter twice, and I still don't understand it.
I'm with you on that. I mean, I'm about to skim back over it again, of course, before I take this test Saturday, because I'm like really confused. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it is confusing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What programs are you guys in? I'm in the nonprofit organization.
I'm in general legal studies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with human resources, that's me.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
All right, well, I'll get on top of that torts book then. Thank you.
I got a lot of minds.
Yeah, we got to get past this first. All right, good night, you all.
Good
All
night.
right, take care. Nice speaking to you guys.
You
Same
too.
here.
All right, bye.
All right.